to the latest episode of Back at the Ranch. I am your host, Danny Knaub. With me is our latest deserted explorer, Gabe. How you doing today? Welcome.
Hey, good. Nice to be here.
Yeah, very nice to meet you. It seemed like everyone absolutely loved you. You had a very good, like your personality just shone through during the whole season, and I think people really liked you. Do you think that was part of the reason why maybe you were targeted?
I think possibly, yeah. I think it's just like I'm easy to get along with, so I'm also like a good target to like take out like at any point.
Yeah. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. So obviously you're a fan of Survivor, otherwise you probably wouldn't be playing a game like this. So we surprised you bringing in Ethan and Janet to kind of be the team leaders. How surprised were you, and how cool was it that Ethan chose you?
To be honest, I watched Survivor like a long time ago, and I actually just started watching it again like the day before the first day. So I kind of didn't remember who Ethan was at first. It's only after the reactions of the other players that I realized that he was probably important. And I was almost on original team Janet just because Janet almost picked me too, which I thought was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They were like kind of fighting over you in a way, which is kind of cool. So obviously, we don't give you guys much of a chance to actually get to know each other. Your parties are literally chosen, and we throw you into your first challenge. Unfortunately, your team loses, so you're gonna be the first ones to go to Crossroads. So talk to me about that first vote. So obviously, Will goes. You do receive 2 votes, but what was your strategy in that hour before Crossroads? Who were you gelling with? Like, what was just your overall feel?
Overall, I was literally just going with the flow. I had no game plan. After getting voted out and having a chance to talk to the other players who got voted out, I realized how much more strategy other players had compared to me when I came in. I literally just went with the flow. I was waiting for a name. Will's name came out there. I was like, okay, I guess it was just how first impressions went off, and sometimes they're not really the best, and you can't really make a good decision based off of that. Sure. But from the first night, I would say I thought I had more of a connection with Gideon and Ryan than the other players. Eventually that changed, but
yeah. So obviously, I mean, look, that's a legit strategy. I mean, some people, do really well in the game, just sort of kind of flying under the radar. But obviously with that first vote, Will does get voted out. So you are in the majority of voting, but you do receive 2 votes. Was that a shock to you?
The one vote I wasn't too shocked about because I knew it was probably coming from Will, but the second vote, still a big shock to me. I still really don't know who it could have been. But I think because those 2 votes were already placed my way, it started a target on my back that ended up getting me voted out the second time.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, it's funny because that rogue vote really did sort of set the stage for a few votes later on. A lot of people thought it was Hannah. So I think that they were really sort of looking at her. I'm surprised you don't know who the first rogue vote was. You should ask. Have you asked in the jury just to see if anybody will tell you?
Actually, I haven't. I kind of got over it after going back into the game. I was like, whatever. It happened. It's in the past. But I'll probably ask them as when more original Team Ethan members get in and who they think it was.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't want to spoil it for you. Because obviously I know, but I you figure it out. So obviously, then we go into the second day. Your party again loses the challenge. Are you worried it's going to be you, or are you feeling like you have a solid alliance? What was going on in that second vote?
I definitely wasn't as relaxed as I was the first vote. And I knew since my name was already put out there that it was potentially a target. And by the end of, or by the second half of strategizing before Tribal, it was actually, or Crossroads, it was me and Hannah knew that we were both going to be the ones on the chopping block. And it was kind of awkward. We were just staying in the room and talking to each other. And we definitely had some feeling that it was going to be one of us two, just because of you can tell when people aren't giving you any information that it might be you. That's how I felt for that first one.
Totally. So unfortunately, you are the one voted out, but you're met with this twist that you're actually going to be going to the Trail of Deserted, where you'll be competing against Will for a chance to come back in the game. How are you feeling when you find out that twist?
I was actually pretty excited. I was like, oh, this is a chance to try to get back into the game and see and make like an interesting play. I was like, if I do get back in, I'm playing for Will just because I was happy to get to know him a little bit better than I had on the first day where he got voted out. I actually had a chance to speak to him, and it was actually pretty pleasant.
Yeah, Will's a really, really nice guy for sure. So
Mhm.
I'm glad that you put something like that. So you do actually, so you win. I mean, you have to balance a ping pong balls on a book, correct? I believe. And so
Yeah,
you actually outlasted Will. Were you feeling good about that challenge? Did you think you had it in the bag?
I I think so. I like to think that I'm pretty good at anything with endurance, but actually, it was really funny because I hadn't eaten all day beforehand. So I was balancing the book or the ping pong ball on the book, and I was getting like tunnel vision like on the ping pong ball, and then I really wasn't even paying attention to the stream or anything. It was just me, the book, and the ping pong ball like in reality.
Well, it's good. You got some good concentration there. I mean, I think that's what you need to do to kind of win an endurance challenge like that. Um,
Yeah.
so this brings us to like, this is the question I'm dying to ask you. I so want to know. So you win and you're allowed the chance to get back in the game, and you choose to go back to your original party. Why did you choose that, since they had just voted you out?
I think for me, I felt like the reason they voted me out was not because they wanted to vote me out, but it was explained to me later on too, which was what my initial feeling was that they voted me out because they were afraid that me, Gideon, and Ryan would eventually like dominate like the alliance and Team Ethan. But I also chose it because I knew that even if we did go to Crossroads again, I would have that immunity for that night. So I knew I was also better off trying to reform relationships with them than going on to the other team and trying to like start like over from scratch.
Did you, I mean, obviously that all makes sense, but were you worried because obviously there was an alliance in place that was a majority alliance that was part of the reason you went home, that you wouldn't be able to kind of wiggle your way in? Or did you think maybe with time you would be able to sort of work your way back in?
Oh yeah, it was definitely a risk going back to the same team that voted me out the night before, but I felt pretty confident that I would be able to get back in with them just because of the dynamic we had before I was voted out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's interesting because it does work for you for the most part. I mean, you do last several more days after. We do come into that first swap where you are in a majority. So you're swapped you're in Team Janet now. And there's 4 original Team Ethan members, yourself included, versus 3 original Team Janet members. So this is one of those cases where on paper, it looks good for you because you're in the majority. So my question to you though is, was there any part of you that considered, I can join with these 3 team Janet and flip on my people who had voted me out? I'm just curious.
Actually, that never even crossed my mind. I was just like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to actually bond closer with the older Team Ethans just because I know we come from a similar team. I'm actually really interested to see like what my gameplay would have been like if I did think of that and went with that play.
Well, it's interesting because I've talked to Hannah, I talked to Jennifer, in the same type of interview, and I sort of asked them that same question because I was like, Jennifer, did you ever consider approaching Hannah or approaching Gabe and trying to because they only needed one of you to flip, and then the majority would have been, and they kind of had that same idea of like, oh, I didn't think about that, and it just as a spectator, that's something I noticed where I would like to think like, oh, if I was on the bottom, I'd flip, but it's a hard game to start. So you do fairly well for the next few days. So we get into what I call like the craziest crossroads that I've ever witnessed, which was the one where it was like that puzzle challenge. It was like puzzles, endurance, push-ups, and like all that kind of stuff. So Team Ethan ends up winning that challenge. So you definitely are going to be going to Crossroads. The twist being that the other party as well will be joining you. They could vote, but they'd be at risk. They don't have to vote. It was a very confusing thing. I think your take on it, because we had people who left Crossroads, we had compasses played, we had rogue votes. Just what was your experience like in that entire hour leading to that insanity?
Definitely. So initially coming in, I had really like pushed for voting Justin out, and that was my original plan the entire way. Eventually, the other original members of Team Ethan convinced me to go with Jared, and I was like, all right, that's what everyone's going for. That's what I'm going for. And then Crossroads happens. All those like the compass got played for Justin, and then Jared used his skip, which was like a really good. I still really don't know if how well planned that was, but if it was well planned like that, then that's a really golden play. That's amazing. I was like blown out of the water by that. Just really shocked. Didn't expect Hannah to go home. I knew it was definitely gonna be one of us though.
Yeah, no, it definitely it felt like the party lines were still working together. And yeah, no, I mean, I was shocked when I saw that Kyle pulled out his compass to get to no, it was who was it? Oh no, yeah, when playing it for Justin, like that was insane. Like I was not expecting that. So you know, but it was a good move on their part because obviously they got what they wanted. They got, you know, a big team out. Hannah was definitely a beast for sure. Um,
Yeah.
so when you see Hannah go, are you nervous? Are you like, because you're kind of saying that you felt like you were going to be pretty much one of the next ones?
For sure. And I definitely like I liked having Hannah around just because I knew we were like people like because of our rough start kind of people wouldn't expect us to like be working more together, and I think I would have been definitely open to like working with her more and seeing like how far we could have gone because it's always the unexpected alliances that always end up going far. Oh, did I cut out?
Yeah, for sure. You know, and but kudos to you because you make it to the rendezvous, our version of the merge, which is always a huge accomplishment. You know, anybody in the real game of Survivor, that's, you know, like one of their big like milestone moments to try to make that. So congratulations to you for making the jury, for making that. So when Ryan ends up winning immunity, so he's safe. So, you know, it's one of, I think, 10 people who are going to be going. Obviously, it ends up being you, but what was the vibe like in that hour? Were you feeling like you were finding people to try to make a move on them? Because obviously, or I mean, how were you just feeling?
I was definitely more shocked by that one, just because I thought in my head I was like, yes, like this play that we're gonna try to make, and it almost worked, but somebody flipped, and that's like the reason that I got voted out. But I was feeling like a lot more confident than like the other votes a little bit.
I hate that. So just overall, how was your experience with us?
It was really fun. I've never played a game like this. I was really glad. One of my friends, Kimmy, she has suggested this to me because I know she played in the last season.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, I saw her having like a lot of fun, and I was like, I'll try it too. I'll try it too.
yeah, for sure. So of those, so obviously you're part of the jury now, so you get to reward our winner, I think in about a week or so. At this moment in time, with those who are remaining, who are you rooting for?
I would say I really like Chantel and Ryan. I like Chantel's playstyle, and Ryan's just really sweet. I wish I knew the other people better so I could say more about them, but I would definitely say Ryan and Chantel are up there for me.
Nice. Do you have any regrets or anything that you wish that you could have changed in your time here?
Hmm. I would say I regret not lying more to stay in because I see some people do that, and I'm like, it's difficult for me. So I wasn't able to like be able to like put it out there like really easily like that. I would rather just say what I am confident about, and I was just hoping like for the best, basically.
Well, that's a very good quality in life, and that's, you know, a hard quality in this type of game where people have to, you know, try to deceive and all that. But I think that, you know, obviously really speaks to your character. And one thing's for sure is that everybody has the utmost respect for you. I've heard everyone talk, you know, nothing but positive about you. So, you know, that's just a testament to who you are. So thank you so much for, you know, doing this and giving to us because such an emotionally charged game.
Yeah,
So it's
and that's
really,
what makes it so fun. Like all the stress, all the excitement, like the relief you feel. Like there's just so many emotions like put into this one game. And I was like I'm really glad to have had a chance to play with everyone. It was really nice meeting them, and I hope like I'm excited to like connect with them like on another level after like the game is over.
yeah. Well, we always say welcome to the fun side, because now that the game's over, you'll get to meet, as Kimmy will probably tell you, there's a lot of us and we all, enjoy each other, hang out. And so we're looking forward to getting to know you. Final question, would you play again?
I think for sure, yeah. I think I'd play again. I think I'd play a little differently.
Nice. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll get a chance to see you. But Gabe, thank you so much for coming in and just kind of talking through everything with me. It was an absolute pleasure. I'm glad I got to finally meet you. So
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's nice to meet you too.
of course, thank you. And to everyone at home, thank you again for watching. Still a lot more to play in this game. I don't know. It's one of those like buckle up. I think it's going to get kind of crazy these next 2 days. So we'll see
For
who
sure.
we'll be talking to next. So everyone out there, have a good day.
Bye.